Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at Six Strings Nine Lives. So those of you that caught my last video, the King Diamond favorite songs, chatting about the new possible album, I had also mentioned that my next video would be an episode of Six with Six Strings, episode 28. I got something pretty cool planned for that. But along came this thread that is super interesting, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try this. The thread idea came from a good friend of mine, Metal Mickey. Back in front of the camera, good to see you, and I hope you continue. But the thread idea, or the title of the thread, is the 1-2-3 album challenge. So kind of how this is set up, or what Mike would like to see us try, and what he did in his own video, which I will leave a link to the original video, so if you'd like to jump on the thread, go for it. The idea is to see how far you can go up the ladder with, for example, I'm going to show the first one you show is your favorite album from a band, and it's their debut. And then the second one you show is your favorite album from a band, and it's their second album, and so forth. Third album, fourth album of a band, 5, and see how far you can take it. I think Mike got to number 8, which is really good, and I thought I could definitely get to 8. Maybe we'll see. So what I did is, knowing me, I keep track of everything. I do a lot of ranking videos, so I have a book with all my ranking videos in the book. So I, just quick reference. I don't want to go through 40 videos to, break this down. So I kind of built a little bit of a skeleton, started filling in some blanks. Okay, let's show this as my favorite debut. Let's show this as my favorite, or my third. Number 3 is my third favorite from this certain band. And let's see where we can go. I ran into a bit of a problem on number 6, but it didn't take long for me to fill that one in. A band I don't have a lot from, but I definitely have my favorite from that band. So yeah, just going to my ranking video was very helpful, but I didn't want to go full on just from ranking videos. It was kind of too easy. So I thought, let's fill in a few. So out of these bands I'm going to show you, quite a few of these bands I have ranked on my channel. A couple that I will rank. So I'm going to give away my number 1 on 2 occasions. Won't be rushed. I'm saving that one for sure for a full ranking. And then there's a couple of bands I probably will never rank. I just don't need all of their discography. So without any more babbling, let's start off with, so what I'm going to do is show my favorite debut from a band, and then we'll go from there. There are so many great choices. A lot of these bands, or what I should say is I have quite a few bands with large discographies that I do own. But you know what? Later on, number 9, 10, definitely not my favorite. Or, you get into the 12s, 13s. How could number 13 from a band be your favorite? It's, you don't want to lie on here, but at least I got a little bit of proof through my videos of that. But anyways, let's get going. So this one I easily could have picked. Oh man, right away I thought about Wasp, Testament, Merciful Fate, 3 of my favorite debuts of all time. But I went with this one because I love this album, and in my opinion, this band has never done anything quite as good as this. I'm not saying everything after this was shit, but they definitely changed their style after their first album. But the first one I'm going to show is the debut by Great White, self-titled, 1984. Fantastic album. It's a metal album. It has metal elements. There is not a weak track on this. Actually, nothing is weak on this. Not even the cover of Substitute. That's awesome too. Favorite track on this album is No Better Than Hell, Out in the Night, Stick It, On Your Knees, Street Killer. Top to bottom, saw these guys open for Judas Priest in 1984 on the Defenders of the Faith tour, and I just loved it. I got the album right away and have loved it ever since. I kind of think they shit the bed on the next album. Shot in the Dark was okay at best. the only single off that album was a song called Face the Day, and it was a cover song. And there's another cover song on that album and a couple of good tracks, but after that, they just really changed their style, went the bluesy route, blah, blah, blah. Not, like I said, not bad, but nothing's going to beat this one for debut. All right, second in, I got to show this one. This was a game changer for me back in 1986. So this is my favorite album from this band, and it is their second album. That is Megadeth, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Saw the video for Wake Up Dead. Just, like I said, game changer. Enough said on that one. So there's my number 2. Number 3, what do we got? And I'm going to kind of mix it up a bit here. You know, I know I have usually show a lot of mainstream stuff, and that will continue through this video too. But we're going to switch it up. We're not going to show all thrash or just traditional metal. But this is definitely my favorite album from this band, and it happens to be their third album, and that is Winger Pull from 1993. This one was just came out at the wrong time, but what a great album. These guys got a bad rap, and it's shitty because every one of these guys is a top-notch musician. Reb Beach, Kip Winger, the whole gang. But if you've somehow missed the boat on Winger's third album, Pull, go out and give it a try. My favorite track on here is Junkyard Dog, Tears of Stone. A great video for another one of my favorite tracks, Down Incognito. Love that track too. But so there's number 3. We're climbing up the ladder. Let's see how far we can get. Fourth favorite on my list is this absolute masterpiece from, I think, 1987. Fourth full length. And I do want to tell you that there's no EPs in here, there's no solo albums, there's no live albums, and no comps. These are all just studio full-length studio albums. But here's my number 4, Savatage, Hall of the Mountain King. Just, like I said, just masterpiece, top to bottom. And just one of the highlights of 1987 for me, for sure. Love the cover artwork. This is a recent reissue on Adel Music or Ear Music. They did a great job. Love that back picture, back photo. You probably already know the kind of corny video for Hall of the Mountain King, but a couple other favorite tracks are 24 Hours Ago. The leadoff track is awesome. Strange Wings, yeah, just top to bottom, full of great tracks. And on my list of favorite albums of all time, so there's the 4th album from Savatage and 4th on the ladder. Number 5, I recently did a Scorpions ranking, so I guess we'll just, not recently, I think it was about a year ago now. Time flies when you're having fun, but so we're going to give away my number 1, but if you want to watch the rest of that video, by all means, give her. Here is number 5 on this challenge and the 5th album from this band, Taken by Force, my favorite Scorpions album. I just think this is just the perfect mix of old Scorpions, or 70s vibe Scorpions, leading into what they would sound like in the late 70s, mid 80s. I mean, bigger changes happened in especially Love at First Sting. That was just such a huge hit. But there's my number 5. Number 6 is where I kind of hit a little bit of a wall. I don't have a lot of material from this band, but I've heard everything from them. Just not I'm a fan, but I'm not one of a huge fan. Saw the band I'm talking about is Whitesnake, and this is their 6th album, and my favorite from the band, Slide It In. And I've always, and I've actually said it in a video when I picked up this actual 35th anniversary remaster. There's multiple different copies of this. I do have the original mix on a cassette that I did not dig it out, but this is the perfect mix of the bluesier older Whitesnake meets the 1987 album. This is songs like, I just love songs like Slide It In, slow and easy. I just never get tired of that track. Love Ain't No Stranger, fantastic. There's not a lot of weak tracks on here. I mean, at least 8 out of 10 tracks are just fantastic. And as much as I like the 87 album, I just think it definitely has its standout tracks like Still of the Night and, you know, the remake of Here I Go Again, stuff like that. But this has been always my favorite Whitesnake. And I said I have heard earlier stuff. I just never fully got into, you know, Whitesnake's full discography. But there's number 6. Number 7. This one is on my all-time favorite list. So this is the 7th studio album, and number 7 that I'm showing. This is Krokus, Headhunter. Again, top to bottom, awesome album. Love the album cover. This one never gets old with me. I could put this one on anytime. Produced by Tom Allom, which you know Tom Allom from Judas Priest fame. If you never heard Krokus before and said, yeah, what are they like? I would point you to this album right off the bat. Headhunter. So there's number 7. Number 8 just kind of fell into place because it's my favorite band and it's always been my favorite album from these guys, roughly around the time I discovered Judas Priest. So here's their 8th studio album, Screaming for Vengeance. Now, for me, this is neck and neck with Defenders of the Faith, but this one still comes out on top. I ranked it number 1. Now, I was thinking about this one, this band, Judas Priest. They're churning out some of the, you know, best stuff they've ever done. Firepower. For example, if you came to me and said, I've never heard of Judas Priest, and I handed you over the whole catalog and I gave you a year to absorb everything, and you came back to me and said, you know what, Firepower, it's my number 1. You know what, I would believe you because it is that good. And from all indications, I mean, Panic Attack off the new album Invincible Shield coming out is fantastic. They got a new track that is that's actually, it's already out. I'm trying not to listen to, what's it called, Trial by Fire, but with me, I'm going to end up listening to it. But anyways, here's number 8, Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. Number 9, was it recently? When did I do this ranking? Probably about a year ago too. So this one just kind of fell into place. What's my number 9? Well, it's my favorite album from Black Sabbath, the 9th studio album, Heaven and Hell. If you watch this channel for any extended period of time, you know I'm a big Ronnie James Dio fan. So there it is, Heaven and Hell. Just a masterpiece. Another album that just never gets old for me. Love giving this a spin on, you know, at least once or twice a year type of thing. But number 9. So let's see. And I thought, okay, that's it. That's the end of the line. And then I thought, you know what? I got it. Oh, give it away. I got a number 11, but I was like, what is going to be number 10? A band that I have not ranked, a band that I don't have a rich history with, like some people. I never got into these guys in the 80s or the 90s. I got into them about 5 years ago and fell in love with this album, which I've shown in a video as one of my favorite 2000s thrash albums, you know, 2000 till 2022 or whenever I did the video. And so this is a bit of a giveaway. So if I ever do a Sodom album ranking video, you already know my number 1 and it will stay my number 1. This is just, to me, perfection. This is obviously their 10th studio album, M16. And like I said, I don't have the rich history with this one, but the history I do have with it, I spin this on a regular basis. I know Persecution Mania, Agent Orange, nothing against those albums, but I don't have that relationship with those albums like some of you do. But I have a great relationship with this album. I am a big fan of stuff like Decision Day. Code Red is a fantastic album. Their new album, Genesis 19. But love Sodom. But there is 10 on my list, which brings me to number 11. And if you watched my Kiss ranking, again, this kind of happened like the Black Sabbath. It just fell into place. There is my number 11, and this is kind of where I couldn't find a number 12, but this is Kiss's 11th studio album. And like I said, we didn't include any of the solo stuff, so this is Kiss's official 11th studio album. Remember buying this on release day in 1983 and loving it ever since. I could Lick It Up is probably the song I would go to least on this album. There's so much other good stuff on here. Vinnie Vincent came in, did a great job. He did some guitar work on Creatures of the Night also. But yeah, love this album and remains my favorite Kiss album to this day. And there's number 11. So got to number 11 on the ladder. Hopefully you guys jump in on the thread. It's harder than it looks. You can get a few into place, but you want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to just say, oh, I'm going to kind of mold this one into my number 7. I'm going to mold this one into my number 8. But yeah, 11, but 12 was impossible. I combed the collection and I couldn't find a 12th studio album from any band that happened to be my favorite. I would have been lying to myself, but thanks to Sodom and Kiss, they kind of boosted me up a little bit. But I will leave the link to Mike's original video. Hope you enjoyed this one. And until next time, stay heavy.